Hello everybody. It is Sunday the 22nd of June. I want to talk about what many people are probably not in awareness of, and that is that prayer is a satanic ritual. And if you're saying you are living in a satanic matrix, then I want to show you there is no matrix out there that is not satanic. It cannot be. For a matrix to exist, there needs to be a restraining force. So you will never get out of this one and into another one thinking there will be no restraints. If you're going into knowing something else, that something else is created because there were restraints. Otherwise it wouldn't exist. And that is exactly what Jesus did, and I want to show you this here. And really, for you to make a clear choice for you to know what it is you're doing and to have a clear choice about where it is you're going, you would first of all need to see what it is you're in. Because then you can give informed consent about what it is you're going to. And many do not understand what it is they're in. They've been told out there is so much better, it's so much greater, and they do not understand what it is they're in. They do not know what it is they're rejecting. So let's start with prayer, or Satan itself. The restraining force, the accuser, that which holds you back. It causes a restriction in all possibilities, which is the Creator. You cause a restriction in the Creator. Out of all possibilities to some possibilities. From everything into something. It is only something that exists. Everything does not exist. There is no definition in the word everything or all. There's no definition. It is only that which is defined that exists. So you need to cause a restriction in order to materialize something, bring it into existence. So Satan is a part of creation, of the creative process. It is causing a restriction that creates. Absolutely necessary. It cannot exist without him. It's not a person. Just for talking about it, talk about Satan, give it a label, but it's not a person. So if you are in prayer, and that is what Jesus taught. And that is the way of materializing things, creating futures, future events. Whatsoever you ask for in prayer, know that you have received it and it will be yours. Yeah? So what you're actually doing is, out of your desire, out of the knowledge of possibilities that are in front of you, possible things that can happen, you have the desire for one thing that should happen. That is your path. And there you're causing a restriction. That is what you do. You're causing a restriction in all those possibilities to only one. And that is your desire, the one that you desire. And that is satanic. Prayer is a satanic ritual. You're causing a restriction to just one possibility. And then you have to be focused on that. Know that you have received it. There can be no other possibility then. You need to be focused on the one. Again, you're causing a restriction in yourself. You have to be disciplined. Yeah? That is pure discipline, pure focus on one thing. And not waver. Know that that will happen. And don't waver. So again, that's prayer. And that is a satanic ritual. It is causing a restriction in all possibilities. Now, so that is Satan. That is satanic. This matrix is satanic. Yes, it is. Every matrix is satanic. Our matrix cannot exist unless there are restrictions in all possibilities to create something. In which way is this world satanic? What should the restrictions work and how do they work? And that is knowing what it is you're in. Yeah? Know what it is you're in before you make a decision to run off somewhere else. This is a world of diversity, of many levels of consciousness, many forms of consciousness. The restriction is caused by the law that all shall live. Everything has a right. If it's here, it has a right to be. Yeah? God does not, or the creator of this matrix does not judge. The only thing that is required is that everything gives, everything receives, everything integrates itself into this web. That is what is needed to be here. You're no longer integrated in this web. You're no longer, you will get chucked out. But that is your choice. You can go somewhere else. So, and then the restrictions are caused by the law of love your neighbor as yourself. That is what is causing the restriction in this world. Do not do unto others what you do not want to be done to yourself. That is what causes the restriction. It is the knowledge of self. Your likes, your dislikes, how you feel about things. That is the knowledge of yourself. And then, if you feel something is bad, don't do it to somebody else. It's straightforward. It is not complicated. It's not all the way out there. It's right in front of your nose. So, look at the 10 Commandments. You don't want to be killed? Don't kill somebody else. You don't want to be lied to? Don't lie to somebody else. You don't want somebody to bear false witness against you, that is to go spreading of lies about you? Well, you don't want that done to yourself, don't do it to somebody else. You don't want somebody to sleep with your husband or wife, Well, don't do it to somebody else. Straightforward. And it is acknowledging the rights of others. And it is really, on a deeper level, it's caring. You care about others. This is built on love and on caring about others other than yourself. And going by the knowledge of yourself. Because, it has to come from somewhere, what you know. So this is his world, and this is his matrix. And yes, there are restraints. Obviously, there are restraints. Now, the way that people go, and here is again the God, the Father of Jesus, the gods that are outside of this matrix, that have different kingdoms. They are the lords of different matrices, yeah? That are built by different laws. So if one of them should call you, yeah, you're being called from outside of this matrix. The first thing they do is they detach you from the knowledge of this world. And that is, they take you away from your husband, from your wife, from your family, from your friends. They isolate you. That is the first thing. Again, that is taking you out of the web of life in this world. Because that is energetic, that is not physical. It's absolutely not physical. You are detached from the flow of energy that goes from one to another in this energetic web. The receiving of information about others, the giving of information of yourself, you're being taken out of that. And I have heard, now I have no intention of going to that place, to go that far out. But I've heard those that have reached this, what they call the point of absolute enlightenment, yeah? Where you are no longer dragged down by the cares of this world. You're no longer dragged down by caring for this world. You no longer care. Yeah? You're no longer restrained by the influences that you would receive of other consciousness in this world. There's no more influences. You no longer know this world. You no longer care about this world. And then they say it feels really good to be in that place. I would say it does. As I say, I haven't been, I have no intention of going there, but I can reason why it would feel good. Again, you no longer care. That yoke has been taken off your shoulders. That's why it feels good. And to be quite honest, that is a state of, that is a height of selfishness. When it is only you. You have detached from any other influence. You don't care about anything anymore. You have let go of the restrictions that would have been imposed on you through caring. You've let go of all of that. You no longer give a shit. And it's just you and the Creator. That is the height of selfishness. Yeah? Where you are the only thing that exists. No more attachments. The point is that you cannot exist in that state indefinitely. You can't. There's no more focus. There's no more knowing. There's only you. You're lost in space. And you will dissolve. That is where consciousness dies. It will dissolve. There are those in this world, there are teachings in this world that say that that is the entire purpose, yeah? To get out and to dissolve in the glorious light of all, because that's what he will do. It is never the case of I will know the Creator. I is what you're getting rid of. So I will not know, cannot know. The Creator cannot be known. That is what every ancient teaching will tell you. But let's say you reach this point, and in a way that is the point of complete freedom, because you are no longer tied by anything. You are no longer influenced by anything else. It is just you. So you could say that that is the point on which you have the complete freedom to make a choice. But what do you know in that place to make a choice with? You know, that is... Anyway, let's say it is. It is that point. And let's say Jesus reached that point. Yeah? The highest point of selfishness. Because that's what it is. And from there, he made the decision to create another restriction. Because in order to exist, for anything to be in being, there has to be a restriction. And he chose a different restriction. When he chose the kingdom of my Father, he chose a different restriction. Which, again, it is satanic. Every matrix is satanic. The restriction is caused by a different law. That is the law of the few, or even the law of one, if there's only one Lord God. And everything else must serve that. Yeah? Whereas in this world, the restriction is caused by the rights of all to be. In that world, the restriction is caused by the desire of one or the desire of the few. It is the pyramid system. That is the pyramid system. And I say in the book of the Revelation, it will come to earth. And as I say, read that book. Please do see what's actually happening there. It's full on slaughter. It is the elevation of the few to be the gods of this world forever, to be the rulers. Yeah, and again, all of your focus is going towards make them happy, glorious, let them have all the power and all the glory. Let God have all the power and all the glory. Because for myself, I ask nothing. There is definitely restrictions in that world. Yeah? And then you wonder which world is more restrained. This world or that one. I mean, you're experiencing it in this world. You're experiencing the taking away of your freedom because it serves the few. That is the kingdom of Jesus' Father. That is where you're going. Glory, hallelujah. Let's all go to New Jerusalem. Do you know what it is you're asking for? Do you understand what you are in and what your choice is of the other? Do you know what it is you're doing in prayer? Causing the restriction, the desire to only go to that place out of all possibilities. And you are the one that's doing it. Yeah, this is not fate. And this is not inevitable, most definitely not. This is something that you are doing. You are causing the restriction. You are performing the satanic ritual of prayer, saying you want to go there as the only possible outcome. Do you know what it is you're doing? Are your eyes open to the truth? So again, the knowledge of others that are outside of this matrix, the reason why they're outside of this matrix is because they're not according to this matrix. And many of them are probably not, they are that different in their thoughts, in their emotions, and what they think they are, which is creating their energetic being. They're probably that different that they cannot enter into this matrix. Yeah? You need to be something that cares. You need to be something that has got the humility to know you are not the only thing in existence, and care about others. That is what is required to live in this world. Not to know you're nothing. You're not nothing, but you're definitely not all. If you think you're all, you're not a part of this world. And you might go to another. Apparently there are other possibilities. So, The thing is, if I have listened to somebody like Johnson Julian again, okay, but he is the one that said it, yeah, that there are those in this world that know others out there, and there are those in this world that will never know them because they are restricted by this world. And then he says they're restricted by nationality or by consumerism or by friendship, and he throws all those things into one pot, and they're not the same thing. They may be restricted by the cares of this world, yes, and the truth of this world, which is the energetic connection between a mother and her child, between friends, between siblings, families, friendship groups. That is the truth of this world. And then there are those that actually care about animals and about nature and about everything else. They're even more connected to this world, to all the different levels of this world. And they care. And they love this world. And that is what is keeping their focus. That is what should direct their prayers when they bring things into being in this world. And that is being within the law of this world. And tell me that is wrong. Tell me that that is in some way evil. Because it is not. This world is not evil. In truth, when you reach the truth of this world is not evil. There is a veil that is already created by those other worlds. By the pyramid system worlds, by the matrices that are ruled over by the one. Their system is already being established in this world. There is the evil. The evil is not of this world. The evil is coming from outside of this world. But, as I said, if you have those that have already have experiences of others that are outside of this matrix, means they are detaching. Yeah? And I hear them saying, oh, this is a satanic matrix, this is evil, we are going out there. And they're saying that, and I said they have never understood what it is they're actually in. And they're not making an informed decision. They're being lured out of this world with a promise of greater out there. It has been pointed out to them that this is a satanic matrix, that there are all these restrictions. They do not see what the restrictions are, what they serve, what this system is that they're in. And they most certainly do not understand that if they are going into another matrix, there will be restrictions there. Because without it, the matrix could not exist. They're not going into complete freedom. Jesus most definitely did not go into complete freedom. He went to a place where I do not think for myself, I do not speak for myself, I do not go by my own knowing. I shall be ruled over by the will of another being. And I shall be its servant. Slave, actually. If you have no thought for yourself, you're a slave. A servant has got self-determination. Servant has something that has knowledge and is free to choose its employment. But that is, if you give away any knowledge of yourself, you have no more freedom. You are a slave. And that's where Jesus went. Yeah? So it's satanic. It is restricting. Everything is. If it exists, there is a restriction. You're not getting out of it. The only way you get out of it is to be completely detached from everything. And I say people are on their way. And their medics tell you, you detach, or you seek all, you detach from this world. That is the way. You're no longer influenced by this world. That is the way. First of all, you become unfit for life, which a lot of the also spiritual, they are definitely unfit for life. A lot of them. They're social messes. Their life is a mess. So you become unfit for life, and then it will lead to insanity. And that insanity is you burning up in the light of all. That is disintegration. That is going into oblivion. The only choice, I would say, if you stay in existence, is the choice between one matrix or another. And then please understand what it is you're in. What the intention is in this world. To have diversity, to have cooperation between different levels of consciousness, between different forms of consciousness, and to create a balance where all can exist. And yes, there have to be restrictions on the individual, obviously, for the good of all. But then the good of all is the good of the individual. Again, does the individual see that? And then higher states of consciousness is the pyramid system, is the rulership of the few. And their will shall be done, and they get everything. Is that a higher state of consciousness than this world, nature? I would say nature is on a far higher state of consciousness, and if we become a part of this experiences as we should experience it, and that is, again, accepting the restrictions. I mean, you most certainly will have to accept the restrictions in the kingdom of the God of Jesus, because if you don't, his fire will burn you. But if you hear, accept the restrictions, the satanic restrictions, if you accept them because you know they are good, that should take you to a higher form of consciousness. So, here we go. First of all, higher knowledge is the knowledge that Satan is a part of creation, a necessary part of creation. It's not a horn-ringed goat that you have to run away from. It's something you need to work with. You need to accept that it exists, it has to exist, and to work it correctly. That alone is a higher state of knowledge. Those that say, well, no restrictions, no restrictions. We're getting out of this prison. I say their level of consciousness of 5-year-olds and knowledge of a toddler. Yeah, I want what I want, and if mommy and daddy tell me I cannot have it, they're evil. You're a very small child. And again, are we being made to become children again? From an adult point of view of all of this, that knows restrictions are necessary, to again become like children. Any restriction is evil, and we should just do whatever we like. And then being promised a kingdom, where everything is possible. Well, I think once you get there, you will have a very rude awakening. Everything will most certainly not be possible. Anyway, here, I leave it at that for today. And I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.